Now, Kevin, the weird thing about tonight is the fact that we're about to hit 12 a.m., but we don't even hit 12 a.m. It just goes straight to 1 a.m.
Yeah, we skip it.
Yeah.
Never get to see it.
North America. Weird. Very weird. Hello, everybody. Welcome to NameCast. My name is Nathan, and with me is my trusty co-host,
Kevin.
Yeah, buddy. What's up? It's just us this week, man.
Yeah, just
us.
We had
the
a big,
two of
big
us.
old spurt of
Yep.
doing guests and stuff.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
And
I think we have more lined up for the future.
we do.
as
We
well.
do. Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
But, you know, for those of you who were fearing that we were just sick of each other so we got other people on, maybe you're right. No, I'm just joking. Actually, we just recorded a shit ton of Zelda together today and all that stuff and all these kinds of things. So, Kevin, do you have anything to talk about before we get into the housekeeping, before any of that stuff?
No developer profile today. However,
Unfortunate.
working on lining up a producer for that developer profile
Yep.
in the future. And
Happening.
I think the only other big one I'll need is QA. So
I have an in there.
you have it in there. Sweet.
Yes. Which is cool.
Quabity Ashwitz.
What's that?
The Quabity Ashwitz.
The Quabity Ashwitz. Yes. Is that what you call them?
That's a reference to the Office, the American one. Creed forgets what his job title is, and QA Quabity Ashwitz. It's pretty good.
That's fantastic. Okay, without further ado, let's get into the
Housekeeping.
housekeeping. What games have we been playing, Kevin? Now, let's start off with you. What you been playing, man? It's a lot of the same.
It's the same because I have a couple games that are really awesome that I'm sinking a lot of time into,
All
which is
the
kind of
hours.
nice because I don't know. I like having those kind of games.
Yeah.
So yeah, Stardew
Stardew.
still going on. I am
Yeah.
now in summer of year 2. I am
Nice.
a little over. I'm pretty close, somewhere around middle of summer.
Yep.
Which I got the production going strong now. I am starting to see some of the money that I'm planning for
the
this
Benjamins.
year.
Yep.
And yeah, it's
They're
exciting.
coming in, man.
Yeah.
They're coming in.
I
You're
love
making
it.
crazy bank.
Yeah.
Crazy. So give us the rundown of your strategy. How many hot plants you running right now? It's in the 200s.
240 hot plants.
240
Minus
hot
a couple
plants?
because they're like mysteriously turning
What
into
the fuck's up with
like
that? Yeah,
weeds.
they're just dying.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't know. Is that a
I don't know what's causing that. It's
yeah?
not really crows.
Yeah. No, because
'Cause
you
I
have
have a
scarecrows
shit ton of
everywhere,
scarecrows.
everywhere.
Shit ton.
Even rare crows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They aren't any more effective. They just look cool.
No, they look real cool.
Um,
and then you have what are you sitting at for kegs now? It's quite a large amount.
So yeah, my original plan for kegs was like 164.
Blew the fuck past that.
And I just kept making kegs, and I'm in like 190 or something now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can every like second day of crops, I can pretty much use all those into kegs.
Now the thing you're doing too is you also have so you have the fully upgraded house, and then with the fully upgraded house, you have the whole basement filled with casks. Now what's the cask do?
So you throw beer or any other things that can age into the cask.
Yeah.
You wait a while, and it ups their quality. So I'm gonna get them all, or not all my beers that I make, but as many as I can fit in 1 year into Iridium Star quality beer,
Which
and
is
sell
like
that. Which
crazy money.
yeah, I forget if it like doubles or triples the price.
I think it's closer to a double.
Sells
Yeah.
sells for it, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's pretty crazy. So yeah, I'm playing a lot of Stardew as well. I feel like for this one, we just have to go back and forth because we're playing the same games, literally. So yeah, I have a similar strategy. I'm a little behind where you are just in time wise, and I think I'm doing things at maybe a little bit smaller of a scale because I need to save up money for my produce, or not produce, but my seeds that I'm going to buy because I'm going down the starfruit route. So with starfruit, they're the best fruit in the game because they grow similarly to hops, and they sell for so fucking much. It's insane.
Yeah, because you can turn them into wine as well.
You can turn them into wine, and then Iridium age that wine, and you're getting like $5,000 a bottle.
Yeah.
To put that in perspective, you get from your top age beer like $700.
Yeah.
So, like, what the fuck? It's insane money. But that being said, it takes 7 days for it to turn into a wine, and 24, 28, somewhere around there.
Almost an entire month.
Almost an entire month for it to cask. So I'm gonna have to do different strategies because with yours, you just filled your basement with casks, but in an efficient way that you can touch every single one. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill the whole goddamn thing and just let them go for the month, and then carve out my my efficient path to go get it because that's an extra 64. For me, so 64 times 7,000 is a big fucking number. So you know what I mean? Like it's gonna be crazy money like that, and I think we're gonna have to implement different strategies. But like, so I'm stoked to get that money. But what's long-term goal? What do you push for after you're making that kind of bank? I mean, I guess you want automation, so that's what you want to push for because you're going the sprinkler route.
Trying to slowly get up a bunch of iridium sprinklers. Honestly, I think at the point that I'll be using them, I'm probably not going to be using them for beer.
Right.
I think at that point I'm probably going to like change my direction into filling out the collections.
Okay. Yeah.
That kind of more completionist side of it.
Right.
As opposed to make all the money, because I'm pretty sure
you'll have
so much money
more
that
money
I won't
than
be
you'll need. Yeah, exactly.
For it.
Yeah, you'll need so much. See, now what I think is interesting about this game is that we're both taking totally different paths to achieve similar objectives.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now what are you doing? I feel like you're going the more traditional route.
Yeah, so like, I got a wife, I got a kid now.
You got a kid?
I got a kid.
Shit,
it's a little
son.
baby. It only sleeps. It's weird.
Okay.
I expected there to be more there, but there wasn't.
Yeah.
And for a lot of the town upgrade stuff, I'm doing that through the community center.
Yeah.
Which is like you have to collect a bunch of things and donate them into like a bundle.
Yep.
And then once you complete a bundle, you get a reward. Complete the full bundle, and then you get some big bonus or benefit or something better in your town.
Right. And yeah, the town takes a lot of pride in the community center, which is cool to help them upgrade it and everything like that.
Yeah.
Now, what I did was I sided with the greedy corporation, got a membership with them, demolished the fucking building, and just used my crazy money because I'm daddy fucking Warbucks to buy whatever the hell I want. And I'll run this town to the ground if I want to. So that's what I do.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's interesting because like I feel like you played the Harvest Moon games in a similar way to how you're playing this game too, right? Like you focus on the story and everything like that, whereas I'm just like, I'm an asshole farmer and I just want to make the money, so fuck all you people.
Yeah.
Which is weird for me because I tend to play games where you get moral choices. Like I tend to go the Paragon route, so I don't know. Maybe it's that I feel like, I don't know.
You're treating this more like it's a simulation.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, fuck it. I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because, I mean, I'm very much treating it like it's a simulation. I mean, my character is Cloud Strife. Everything is based off of the Final Fantasy VII universe. It's pretty ridiculous. And I may be working on a kind of a reaction to Kevin's video because we have similar styles of business, right, for how we're doing things. I think I'm a little bit behind him. But I'm catching up. We got some free time in those 4 a.m. nights when I say I'm going to go to bed at 12.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, man, it's real cool.
Yeah.
Real cool. Like it a lot. So now you've been playing the Zeldas.
Zelda Breath of the Wild. I'm not super far into it or anything, but
yeah,
I'm definitely enjoying it. I'm starting to get kind of more into the meat of the game, and
the meat and potatoes.
It's pretty interesting, and I don't know, I'm still enjoying it, and I think that's a big thing because generally open world makes me just kind of meh. Like I get bored of it.
I'm surprised that you're still enjoying it. Like I didn't expect that because like I've shown you open world games and stuff before, like Metal Gear Solid 5 and Horizon and fucking whatever. Because I play a lot of open world games, and you're always just like,
yeah,
meh. I'm like, what? So I don't know what is it about this? We kind of got into this a little bit last week, but I feel like you didn't really get to talk much on it, which is totally fine. I love having talkative guests. But yeah, so what do you think about this is really driving? Is it because it's a Zelda universe or what?
I think this game kind of nails direction and giving the player direction a little bit better than almost any other open world game I've played before.
Okay.
Because, like, well, the other part of it, too, is, like, I'm playing on, like, the Pro HUD mode as well.
Yeah.
I'm not using the sensor. I'm, like, giving myself the minimum amount of guidance.
Yeah.
And I still, like, there's this clear objective of what I need to do. And it kind of feels like the whole world is kind of, like, shaped in a way that I'm just going to kind of naturally go where I should go.
Yeah, and it just works.
Yeah, it's like some like next level design stuff going on there where they're just kind of like doing everything subconsciously to give me to go where I need. But yeah, it's really, really good in that sense, and I think that's why I'm sticking with it. Because it's great to just go that way, and it also helps that it's Zelda, so like I get a little bump of nostalgia every once in a while.
I thought you were gonna say boner.
A little boner.
I got a little boner.
A little boner. But I think there's just a lot of like cool, like when what are those lizard people called? Anyways,
the Zoras.
No, not the Zoras. I mean, like the actual lizard enemies. Something Phos.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Like running into them. Like, oh, sweet, it's them. Like, because I recognize them. That kind of stuff is
right.
It's definitely beneficial and it's nice.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't get that kind of same excitement when I run into a Khajiit for the first time in Skyrim or whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't have that nostalgia factor with you.
Yeah.
Now, something you kind of touched on there is saying that there is some next level design going on. So now, for those of you who've maybe been following the channel for a while back, I did do kind of the bare bone basics on how a designer may try and show the player where to go. But when you're dealing with an open world, it's quite a bit different, especially if you don't want to be obvious to the player. So what kind of tricks or what kind of things do you think they're implementing rather to get the player to go in the right direction and still have a positive experience? I know it's kind of a tough one.
Yeah, it's
because there's so many.
It's kind of one of those things where like you need the whole kind of world in place to be like, okay, here's how you implement this thing for this player to do this thing. Like, it's very specific to what's going on.
Yeah.
So I'll use an example from the game. Basically, they give you a very clear direction to go, and it's actually one of the most standout landmarks. Once you're out of the tutorial area stuff.
Yeah, butt crack lane or whatever it's called. Yeah.
And so you go that way, and then that kind of cordons you off into a miniature zone. So it's easy enough to just kind of get around in there, whatever. If you eat it, right, it's small enough that you can explore around and not get too lost.
Yeah.
Which is all great. But I think one thing that they did really, really well afterwards is when you're leaving there, then you're actually opened up to the world at that point. It's like, hey, there's 4 different places you should go and do that. But like there's a preferred order for the designer to have the player do those things in. And so how they kind of got people into like doing that kind of naturally is that whenever you leave that little side area for the first bit, you're headed straight. Straight is taking you back to where you were.
Right.
But the game will open up towards the right.
Yeah.
It's almost like there's a path or like a lane there. Where it's like, yeah, you could go straight past where you were. You could go straight and then right, but chances are you're actually just going to take that first right. It's like, hey, new areas. I want to see new stuff.
Yeah.
Which has led me to the zone where the Zoras are.
Yep.
Which apparently is like the best one to do first.
Yeah, which is something you found out through like classic like water cooler conversation at work, kind of, which is really cool.
Legitimately, like in front of the coffee machine.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that's where we're talking about it all the time.
No, for sure, man. That's that's definitely the nice part of it. I like with a game like this, it's one of those things like don't fucking use the guides or anything like that. Like, you'll find it all out right away. Like something I think
is half the fun.
Exactly. Like something I think is so funny is like as far as you know and your friends know, because you're not looking up guides or anything. Like there's no fucking fishing rod in the game. So the only way you're catching fish is literally with bombs.
Yeah.
Like that's hilarious.
It really is.
There's probably a rod in the game. I would assume, maybe not though.
Yeah.
But like it's just one of those funny kind of things.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. No, really cool. Really, really cool. Do you have anything more to say about it or just kind of enjoying it, eh?
Yeah, I'm just kind of enjoying it. I think I'm interested in what they do with the story and that kind of like end game stuff, but I think for a long while it's supposed to just going to be me playing around in that open world.
Right.
Progressing a little bit and yeah.
Okay, nice. Now, I put on my list that I'm playing the game, but I'm not actually playing the game. It's kind of bringing me back to my youth in a way, because what I would always do was I would hang out with my buddy Dan. He hasn't been on the show yet. I'd love to have him on. He's so funny. But anyway, we would just play games, but like basically I would just get him to play, and I would just like talk and make jokes and just whatever, just beat me kind of thing. And like that's kind of what I'm doing with you with Zelda, and we're also doing it as a Let's Play, I guess. But like I think that's what I would do regardless. Like I don't know, it's just that's kind of how I enjoy to play games. So it's nice to kind of return back to that, which is good. Speaking of games from the past, if you caught our episode of Go that came out on Sunday at 10 p.m. I don't know. 6? I don't know. Fucking time zones are hard. Sometimes Sunday.
Sunday night.
Exactly. Sometimes Sunday night on Pacific Standard Time. Anyway, yeah, we put out fucking Worms, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a Go, and so we played that. It was interesting. It was man, what an obtuse game.
That's weird.
It's so weird.
It's
so
funny.
Weird.
It's really funny, and strange shit happens. But
and you can just kill yourself so easily. Like at one point, I used like a pneumatic drill or something to go down, and I didn't think he would immediately die, but he did because I was trying to hide from your bunker buster. But it was just funny things like that, or like the way I ended up losing. I'm not gonna. Shit, I kind of spoiled it, but the way things go down in the end, it's like I didn't feel like it was my fault.
Yeah,
like,
I do not recall that game having such weird controls.
So weird. But I guess we were playing like a PC version with a controller, which like I haven't even done before.
It's
I've always done
a good way to play it, I would think, anyways. But.
I'd always played it on just not that I played it that much, but like I don't know, a couple matches with my brother way back when on just keyboard.
Yeah, most of my experience with it was on GameCube.
Yeah, which is totally fair. Yeah, we played Reloaded, so that was the one for Steam, and it was pretty cool. It was a lot of fun to do. Something that we played more from your past and present, Melee.
Yeah,
dude.
Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be our next episode.
Yep.
Go.
Who knows what happens? I don't know. Maybe I can win it. Who knows? Who
it's an interesting
knows?
twist.
There's an interesting
to even
twist.
things up.
Yep. There's some exciting
see how
stuff
that
in
turns
there.
out.
We can't exactly talk about it, but it's one of those games. Like I was editing the footage for it today. Holy fuck, that game had an awesome trailer.
Yeah.
Like it's so good. It's so good. And then you were telling me that it's not quite as good as the original Smash Bros. Trailer. So do you want to give the kind of the synopsis for this here, because it's pretty funny.
So yeah, the Smash Bros. 64 trailer.
Yeah.
Nice, beautiful grassy field. Some nice, calm music playing.
Yeah.
And then I think it's Mario, Donkey Kong.
They're cosplay though, right? Is it not people dressed up as them?
It's I wouldn't want to call it like cosplay, because it's like legitimate suits, like mascot type suits.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. It's people in those suits. Yoshi, Donkey Kong, Mario, and
yeah,
I think maybe Luigi. I think there was 4 of them. Maybe it was just 3.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe one was Pikachu. Yeah, I think one was Pikachu.
Oh, okay.
And they're just like kind of skipping through the field to the peaceful music, and then something turns and things get violent quickly.
And they just beat the fucking shit out of each other.
They start fighting.
Which, like, when you really think about it, Melee as a concept is so weird. Why do all these people want to kill each other?
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's funny.
Know.
Apparently, they were just trying for some regular old fighting game.
Yeah.
And then Nintendo's like, this isn't very cool.
Okay.
Like, there's nothing really cool about this.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Then, like, in the interim, like, I think it was just one person on the team. It was just like, well, we have the Nintendo character models. Let's just throw those on there.
Just for kids.
And then they showed that to Nintendo, and they're like, yeah.
I can get into this. Now, I wonder if having the Nintendo character models in the games, if that limits what they can actually do with the characters, right? Because, like, Nintendo's they're pretty precious to their IP, because, I mean, fuck, that's the biggest thing about them. So, like, I wonder if that really limits what you're allowed to do in that game. From a creation aspect.
Yeah, I imagine, like, as far as them creating it and stuff, like, there's probably some rules that they just need to follow, because it's Nintendo,
right?
And Nintendo properties and stuff like that. Like, that's why it's not like blood. You're not getting those Mortal Kombat finishers.
Wouldn't that be something?
That'd be hilarious.
Mary just rips out Peach's spine and, like, snaps it in half or something. That'd be something else. You're in another castle area. Fuck you. Just tears her apart. Make me run all over the fucking Mushroom Kingdom. I'm in a mood tonight, man. I'm swearing like a sailor.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny. Like, this actually reminded me of something. Super Mario RPG.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was Square Enix with the
Squeenix.
Nintendo characters, and yeah, they
No, that was just Square.
just Square. Yeah, you're right.
Before Enix, yeah.
And they took a few liberties in the text and the jokes and stuff.
Yeah.
One in particular is you can go to Peach's bedroom, and you can find her vibrating stair wand.
Fuck off.
And she's like, "Oh, don't touch that."
No way.
Really? That's the thing.
That's hilarious. Did that one just like pass through search, or it was Nintendo like, it's okay?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that went down, but it's freaking hilarious.
Funny, man. That's funny. Yeah, speaking of Squeenix, because I was kind of going to bring it up later, but you brought it up right now. So I'm kind of working on a, I don't know. I wanted to do like a review on the channel for a bit here, so I'm in the midst of starting one, and it's for Kingdom Hearts. I'm just going to say it. Anyway. And something I'd like to talk about in it, and like something that I've just been thinking about that's so interesting, is the fact that, Kingdom Hearts is kind of like the combination of Final Fantasy meets Disney. And it's such a weird combination because Disney, similar to Nintendo, they're like their biggest thing. Well, actually, not now, but when it started, one of their biggest things was their IPs, the Disney, you think of Disney IPs. Now it's probably like comic books and all that shit. But you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I just think it's interesting that that they decided to go down that route, because you would think it would really pigeonhole what you're allowed to actually do with the characters when working with such a big licensed property that's taken care of like in that kind of way.
Yeah,
because I don't know, I feel like Disney holds like kind of a stranglehold on like how they're viewed in some ways. Like any actor that does any full frontal nudity is like dicey for any Disney movie. Like Jason Segel had to actually like really plead his case for being able to work on the Muppets movie because you saw his dick in Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah,
I know, right? Crazy, very crazy.
I understand it to some extent, and Disney's like super litigious as well. So I think they kind of expect other people to be just as litigious,
right,
and care a lot about their image.
Just
kind of help them along that way.
Okay.
But yeah, it's funny. Licensing sucks.
Yeah. I'll move on. So on Frog Fractions. Now this is a game I played because of Danny O'Dwyer. Let me tell you, buddy. So if you don't know Danny O'Dwyer, he runs NoClip. It's fucking awesome. And so we had this guy on for a game called Frog Fractions. Now you played it as well, right?
Yes.
Now I also played it, and I'm gonna let you know, go play it right now. Like seriously, stop the video and play it right now if you don't like want to have anything spoiled, because it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's about 45 minutes to play through it and play.
Just play. just go for it. So now we're gonna give you time to do it. Whatever, go play it. Fine. When you're done, come right back here. Okay, cool. So now I played the game. And I played for a good 20 minutes, and I just played it normally. You know what I mean? Like I followed the rules that were set before me, and I didn't find anything that cool. So I stopped at around the 20-minute mark, and I'm like, okay, I can see where this is going, and I see it's kind of making fun of itself maybe. I guess I wasn't paying close enough attention. And then I watched the documentary. It's like, what?
Yeah.
So, what's your experience? Because I think your experience was similar as well, right?
Yeah, mine was similar. So I had gotten myself some supper and went to watch the documentary, and it's like, hey, you should play this first.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's just a free web online game.
Yeah, why
Sweet.
not?
So I'm eating and playing this game at the same time, and it goes from being just mouse controls to mouse and keyboard controls. I play around with that a little bit, and it's like, I'm still trying to eat here, so I'm just going to watch.
Fuck it. Just watch the video.
Just watch the video.
And then you watch the video, and you find out what the game actually is. So the first part that kind of switches around on you is you can go down beneath where the water is and see like where all the fruit's collecting, and you're like, you get like a billion fruits. It kind of makes collecting the fruit pretty much pointless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it literally says like a billion. You're like, shit, if I go down, can I go up? And then you do go up, and then you're a frog riding on a dragon who's going through space on his way to Bug Mars. You then get to Bug Mars, and there's like this boss-looking thing, and it's like, oh shit, I gotta kill it. I know what I'll do. I'll lick its space in the middle there, because that looks like a weak point, right?
Yeah.
You lick it. It then says, "Thanks for complying. You're going to jail." So then it sucks you in, takes you to like Mars jail to work at a courthouse, and then you're literally making up the history of the planet as you're going through. Because I got Wayne, he actually does our voice sections for the podcast here, and he also was on an episode way back when, not even that long ago, a couple weeks ago. And anyway, I got him to play through it, and we kind of like figured it out together and everything. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, you're like making up the history of this planet, like as you go through. Like literally you can say anything ridiculous, like, oh yeah, actually that is right, we were founded on this ridiculous belief or whatever. So anyway, so then it goes again, and then you get to the next section and you go down, and it's like this weird poetry bit that's like actually kind of pretty, but it's got this spoken word poem in behind it that I guess is an essay that the creator wrote. That's fucking funny, man. It's it's about how boxing was initially two men who would just stand in front of each other and would try and bore each other to death. Not to death, but to the state of passing out, because that's how the other person won. Was if the other person passed out, then you win.
Yeah.
So they would talk to each other, and at one point, someone got the notion to try the punching strategy. So he punched him right in the face and totally changed the game. There was nothing in the rule that said you couldn't punch the other person in the face. You know what I mean? It's just it just goes on from there, and then it becomes so many different types of games, and it's I don't know. I didn't expect it. It was really. What'd you think of it all?
It's crazy creative, like super awesome in that extent. I think like being able to like mesh all those different kind of like themes and styles and mechanics and that kind of stuff and all into one game. It's really funny, and just the way that it's presented as well actually makes it work somehow.
But I should note that the way it does it, like it's not the best thing ever. Like it does a lot of things, but does it do them all great? No, not really. But it does them all, which is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, because at one point it becomes like a text adventure game, like a Zork kind of, and we weren't able to figure it out. We literally typed in "kill myself" and then it says "you're dead," but it still allows us to continue with action. So I don't know, we couldn't figure out what we were supposed to do. We were stuck at that part for a good 20 minutes, so we said, "Fuck it," gave up.
I think that is the end of the game.
Oh, it is?
Actually, yeah.
Oh. Okay. Because I was like, what the fuck are we supposed to do? We couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's like, the game as a whole is really awesome, really cool experience, but no part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't take any vertical slice of it and be like, this is compelling.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
Yeah, that is kind of funny, actually. I'm trying to think of another game that would fall into that category. Like, I guess it would have to be a smaller game, and I'm thinking about Journey, but like, if you show someone just a snippet of Journey, it's going to be cool. I guess that comes from like an art style and an aesthetic. Like what's another
Journey
game?
did a lot to like make it feel good.
Yeah.
Right? Just to move around and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So basically if there's any kind of tight game loop that the player's always participating in, then a vertical slice will always kind of feel good.
Will always be
complete. As long as that, loop is interesting. Like Frog Fractions does have that loop, like at the very beginning, like you're catching bugs, right? That's kind of there, but none of the little loops it does is like super well done,
right?
Yeah, or anything like that, or super well polished.
Yeah,
that's where the character in the game comes from, though. Like.
Right. Yeah, and it kind of comes down to the futility of games in some sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like this is pointless. It's pretty much saying that to you when it says you have like 1 billion points. It's like, who cares? You know what I mean? Kind of how it's just pointless. I don't know. Really, really interesting game. Really weird.
Yeah.
Real weird. Interesting creator. Cool to see the talk with him. Definitely check out the documentary.
The no-clip documentaries are great.
Oh, they're fantastic. I mean, just so good. They have one coming out for The Witness too, eh?
I think that's next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they got one coming out on Spelunky.
Yeah.
They're doing great stuff over there.
That'd be good. I'm so excited for The Witness.
Yeah.
Actually.
What about?
Want to move into topics? Because I have some Jonathan Blow related things to say.
Old Johnny Blow.
Let's get into it.
Kevin, what do you got to toss at me, bud? Let's go.
So GDC happened last week. Was that last week? Sure.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And I wasn't really there or involved in any sense, but a friend of mine in the industry was.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of got us on talking about like just seeing people there and that kind of stuff. And
Right.
Some people find that really cool. Like they idolize some people. And I think one of the only people, like game dev people, that I kind of idolize is Jonathan Blow.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Carmack. Really? You wouldn't freak out
No.
if you saw Carmack?
Carmack's like, yeah, he's legendary, but I don't know. Like
I don't know what I'd do.
I think part of it's like, yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, sorry. Continue.
I feel like, yeah. Anyways, the only person I really idolize very much is Jonathan Blow, and my buddy actually got to not talk with him, but actually talk with his recently hired PR person.
Okay, cool.
Basically, what she was doing was an interview with him, and I guess he had asked back, like, what is it that you want to be doing? And she's like, well, I want to work on games. So he hired her.
No way.
Yeah.
Your buddy Scoop Johnny Blow?
No, not my buddy. No, you misunderstood.
I think I understood that incorrectly.
Yeah, this PR person that Jonathan Blow hired recently. That was the story of how Jonathan Blow hired her.
Gotcha.
She was interviewing him, and yeah.
Okay, I totally misunderstood that. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. I was like, wait, what?
What? Yes.
Wow,
yeah.
that's really interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of funny story.
Yeah.
Little Jonathan Blow thing.
She must have had some experience in games. They're like
I think she's a games journalist or something like that. So
real hot, or I don't know. Like that's just weird. That's interesting.
Yeah,
he's a really interesting character for sure.
Yeah, it is kind of cool, but yeah, it kind of like it's got me thinking a lot, just a bit like idolizing game devs, because I feel like game developers aren't idolized anywhere near as much as other entertainment creators.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, will games get to that point eventually? Like, will game directors be just as famous as movie directors?
Yeah, and that's the hope, right? I mean, I know you're not the biggest fan of them, but like Greg Miller, when he won the Gamer's Choice Award, the same one that Total Biscuit won the year before, he did this big speech about how it's ridiculous that like he gets the accolades for playing other people's products. You know what I mean? He's like, no. So he went through at his speech and he's like, I'm going to thank, he ended up thanking Nicole Tan, who was like a character artist on Rise of the Tomb Raider. Yeah. And was like, this goes out to this person because like this is a game that meant a lot to me. And, it was, that speech is definitely like a big part of the reason why I like that community, because they're trying to push for things like that. And I don't know if it's ever going to become as big as as a director or as something like that. But you have people like an Amy Hennig or a Naughty Dog or a like a Ken Levine. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Or oh my God, Dark Souls. Why can't I think of
Miyazaki?
Names? Miyazaki. You have these people who are kind of in niche audiences becoming those big superheroes. Those legends, right?
Yeah.
That you hear talked about. So I think as the legends grow, maybe that'll be something. But we're living in such a weird time right now where, like, literally the guy who made the first video game, I think, is still alive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're in such a weird time for this medium that, like, the legends who, like, pioneered this stuff are still making stuff. And sometimes they make flops. Like, not every Miyamoto game is gold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's weird that we're in this time. It's just, we live in a great time, and it's one of those ones that I think kids look back on, and I'm not going to say history books because maybe they won't be reading through books, but they're whatever history classes of, I mean, it would seem ridiculous to me that this medium wouldn't be studied in history classes in 100 years' time.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to proliferate to that point, I would think. And, I mean, they're going to be talking about these people. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's such an interesting time.
Yeah, riffing off that as well. The academic side of game design and stuff like that is kind of like hilarious because like obviously there's some amount of academic education and knowledge that exists there, but so much of it's just not figured out.
Right.
Like
it's so new.
Yeah, it's because it's so new and so much of it is still being figured out that like looking at the academic side of game design, really what it should be is very close to the academic side of writing.
Right.
But with writing, like there's this huge amount of knowledge, and it's very like everybody knows what's the most practical of all this knowledge and that kind of stuff. Whereas with game design side of it, it's like we don't really know anything.
Right.
just a couple basic things. So here's some basic things.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's something that I forget the name of the guy, but it was the guy who made Brothers, and he had this really great quote. He was talking about how, well, and I think a lot of other people talked about this too, but I heard him talk about it anyway. How a new medium will kind of emulate a medium close to it until it becomes its own thing, which I think is a great example when you look at, let's say, plays and the first movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Movies for the first 20, 30 years, you didn't really have cuts in the same way that you would have. Like, you just had people standing in front of it, static, talking. And, like, it's something that is still changing and still getting better. You look at some movies from the 90s, and it's like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, some of the film work is weird. And with video games, you have them emulating movies. And, like, let's say the Metal Gear games, where you have, like, 40-minute long cinematics. And it may not be the best game experience, but it's emulating movies.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't even know if it's still fully come into its own yet. At least at the bigger scale, I'd say some indies definitely are
doing things unique to games.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's not a sure thing yet. You know what I mean? Like that's why your AAA games are going to be very similar to a movie.
Yeah.
And that's why they're marketed in that way, frankly. Like, I remember there was an Uncharted commercial back a couple years back, and anyway, and the guy was talking, and he was like, my girlfriend, it's great. She just gets out the popcorn, and she thinks it's a movie. And that's what they were selling it on. Cause, yeah. That's the closest thing that we can attribute that to. So, I don't know. When do you think we will reach a point where it becomes its own actual thing?
I don't know. Like, it's just going to be this big gradual process, right?
Yeah, just chip damage on the way there, I guess.
Yeah, so it'll just be this gradient of a lot like movies, less like movies. And I imagine there will always be that kind of fit for games that are like a movie. It's kind of like how there is some weird-ass movies that are shot very statically and stuff like that, or like, other weird styles that are really riffing off of not movie things. Yeah. Right. That'll always exist. So it's not like there's going to be a cutoff line at all for that kind of stuff. But I imagine like a good majority of games 20 years from now will look way different than games that we're playing now. Right. As far as how they're designed and stuff.
I think something that'll be a big aspect of it is you feeling like you have a unique experience in that world. And you kind of get to this point where you can only make so many assets in a game. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can only make so many things for the player to interact with, but yet it's cool when the player feels like it's unique and special to them. And that really ties into our next topic, which is the Nemesis system, which everyone loves. And it seems like they're pushing that much further in the next game. Yeah. And I think that totally riffs on what I was talking about on how it feels like it's special to you, because what they're doing now is did you see the new gameplay?
I watched it just recently.
Yeah, it's pretty good, eh? Yeah. But it's definitely on a heavier war focus, which we'll get into in a bit. But now they're pushing it on the side of your allies also have not memories, but like shit that you do with
stories.
Them. Yeah. Exactly, you have stories, because in the first one it was pretty rudimentary, kind of what was going on, but it was cool. Yeah. Hadn't seen it before, right? So, like, if you fight a guy in a battle and he runs away, he comes back the next time and he's like, I remember you. And then you build up these, like, nemesises with these guys who just you kind of get grudges against. And then, that's going to go in the other way when you be like, oh, I remember when Orflek the Butcher jumped into battle and took out someone else and threw them in a fire pit. And then they came back and now he's a war chief because he protected me. And, and they remember that. And it's really cool to get that experience. Yet they're not creating new assets. It's all going on in under the hood kind of thing. So what are they doing there?
It's basically Mad Libs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great way to explain that.
I think it's like the only way to explain it. Because, they're setting up this structure around it. Yeah. That things can be plugged in and kind of just fit there on their own. Right. And that kind of stuff. And as long as they reference those things kind of uniformly, then it all works out.
Yeah, because ultimately it's still doing the same thing for all players. It just feels like it's your own thing because, when I talk about Orfleck the Butcher, you're like, I don't know him, but I know Ratbag the Scoundrel is my, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you have this kind of thing with that person, and there's so many permutations as to how these things can happen that it feels like its own thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know, is are systems like that maybe the future of how you get that? Because everyone wants this No Man's Sky promise experience, right? They want exactly, which I don't know is achievable on a real sense, but through systems like this, is that something we could get? Kind of?
Yes. Yeah, I think like stuff like this is a little bit better for the actual player experience. Let's say something like No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is a very unstructured system.
Yeah.
That's kind of doing a bunch of random generation and putting stuff in its place. With like the Nemesis system and just how like all the orcs and stuff are created. They're able to do a significantly more structured kind of random generation.
Right.
And kind of use that to make sure that the player is getting a good experience and that kind of stuff. And yeah, I think it'd be really great to see more of that. And I think we actually will. One thing that I know there's a good few number of people looking into is making learning AI, figure out those systems. Yeah, more use for learning AI. It's getting used all over the place. Like even for figuring out game design, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. When do you think we're going to see that in games? You know what I mean? Like actual... I don't know. The whole learning AI thing, it's one of those things, like maybe I sound stupid through saying this, but I don't know what that means. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like that's a fair question. Like,
yeah. I don't know. We're never going to see it in games directly. Like, be able to point out, like, hey, learning AI made this game. Like,
right.
Because chances are we're already using the products of learning AI. And
right.
I can't really imagine a game actually having a learning AI inside of it. Okay. Because like it's just not how those things work. However, we can make really good benefits out of using the products of what those learning AI has made. Mm-hmm. So they're not commonly used in the development process to create a product on the fly because they're super hard to set up and require a lot of very, very skillful people who are good at making learning AIs.
But could a game not have a learning AI in it? Is that not a possible thing? Or like, I don't understand. Like,
so like, based off like the neural network kind of learning AI type thing, how they work is you basically put a bunch of data on one side of them, and then on the other side of them, you put something that can verify whether that AI did its job correctly or incorrectly. Right. And then you throw that data into the AI, and the AI figures out how to get as many correct answers as possible.
Yeah.
That is incredibly data intensive. It requires a long time.
Right.
Of just that kind of stuff. And in the end, the product you get is that AI that can do that thing. And it's probably going to learn how to do that consistently.
Right.
So it's easier just to be like, okay, let's make this AI, let's set it up, let's teach it, and then use it.
Okay, I get.
So
what you're
we'll see the used version, of it.
Could that not? I don't know. I'm thinking like 100 years, let's say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Could we not have a product that would change so much for each individual user based upon a learning AI? Can that not be streamlined in that process? Like,
yeah, we potentially could. We just need, other wrappers around it, and that's the thing about the neural AI too. Is like it's really, really big interest towards creating general AI because they are capable of learning and getting better at things with like no structure really needed beforehand.
Right.
Which is really good, and we'll probably see that in the future in a kind of more general AI sense. Problem is we just need more stuff around it to figure out that verification stuff, because the verification to tell the AI whether it's doing things correctly or incorrectly, like that needs to be very specific to the situation.
Right.
Yeah.
So now, advances like that, what are those? What creates those advancements? Like just, I guess, increases in computing power, or
Computing powers helped a lot.
so like quantum annealers would be like a big push, or not necessarily.
Sorry.
Quantum computers.
Quantum
Quantum
computers?
annealers.
Oh,
Quantum
yeah.
computers. Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Yes, maybe.
Maybe.
Right. Quantum computers just solve different problems more efficiently than
Yes.
the computers we have. So,
Yeah.
that can be a big benefit. I think the whole neural AI thing, it was like a mix of, one, we need a lot of computing power to do this.
Yeah.
And two, us just kind of learning more about how the human brain actually works as well. We kind of took that knowledge to inspire the idea of the neural network AI.
Right, but is basing it upon the brain, is that really the best? Because the brain is not the most efficient way to do things.
Not technically like the most imaginably
On a
efficient way,
biological
but
sense,
like
I guess. Because like the sheaths aren't that fast. Like computers
It's
go
the-
way faster than our myelin sheaths will allow things to go through neural networks. Like it just
well, like for learning and figuring out new problems and stuff
Yeah.
like that, it is by far the best example we have that we know of, right? So
I guess we have to base it upon ourselves, and that kind of gets into a weird like Faustus argument of some sort, going
Yeah.
beyond the bounds of man.
Yeah.
Really, it's interesting stuff for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, man. So now going from there, I don't know. We got a couple things we can talk about. Let's go into some fun stuff. So Switch, the fastest selling Nintendo console ever so far.
Yeah. I think that was just like the first couple days that the
Yeah.
article came out for. It's kind of funny. Like, obviously it is selling quite well, which is good to see for Nintendo and stuff. And
Yeah.
I think like, a lot of people really like that idea of having a strong console that they can take around portably with them.
Yeah.
That actually has good games on it. Vita.
You can go eat a dick.
But yeah, I think a lot of people are liking it. But it's also kind of funny comparing it. Like, well, first of all, comparing it with all the older consoles,
Yeah.
gaming's just bigger now. There's just more sales.
Yeah.
If like something performs equally, it'll actually sell more.
Which is so weird because do you remember back in like 2011 when everyone's like, console gaming's dead? Everyone thought that. Everyone thought that.
Yeah, a little bit of that was staleness.
Yeah.
Things
Well,
were very stale at that point.
it was because the that generation went on so long because of the
Yeah.
housing crisis.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it artificially extended the length. So that's why when I get such a kick out of people being like, "Oh my God, are they actually going to be making new consoles? The other ones came out just not that long ago, like the PS3 and Xbox 360 last 10 years." It's like, yeah, they lasted too long.
Yeah.
That's why everyone thought console
other side
gaming
of
was
that.
dead. Yeah, exactly. So
Which is hilarious, actually, because the gaming market was very minimally affected by the housing market crash.
yeah,
Entertainment as a whole generally is recession-proof,
yeah,
which is hilarious.
yeah. Because like, fuck, if you're depressed, you're gonna go see.
You're going to want
movies.
entertainment. Yeah.
Exactly. You're gonna want something.
Yeah, it's that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's kind of cool seeing the Switch doing well. And I think everybody's like, the big surprise is that it's surpassing the Wii, because like Wii's stupidly well selling console. However,
But-
if you look at the rate at which it sold over time, the Wii was actually really weak off of this gate, or out of the gates.
Yeah.
Yeah, it picked up significantly about a month later.
Well, because everyone was like, motion controls, but then you see it at a party and you're like, yeah, motion controls. You know what I mean? That's
Well, yeah,
pretty
there
much
was
how it went
there was
down.
that kind of stuff, but also like, yeah, we have a different perspective on the whole kind of Wii thing too, because we've always been in the gaming loop, and
Right.
like, we actually heard about the Wii before it came out.
Yeah.
A good majority of the people who bought the Wii were actually people who a family member had it and they tried it out. They're like, oh, I need to get one of these for my house.
Yeah, exactly. And like fucking old people ate that thing up
Yeah,
like crazy.
which is why it picked up a lot of sales over time.
Yeah.
Kind of later on. So yeah, I don't know. Like, it would be great if the Switch has that kind of thing as well. The problem
I
is
doubt it.
their best opportunity to do something like that was by doing a pack-in game with
1-2
Switch,
should
but
have
they
been a
didn't.
pack-in. I cannot understand how that is not a pack-in.
Yeah, I know.
I can't get my head around that. Like,
Crazy.
what? I don't know. It's and like as far as 1-2 Switch being an actual game, I mean that's neither here nor there. it's very light in its actual game elements. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. In one of them, you feel the controller. It's like, are there how many balls are in here?
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, there's definitely weird
Milk
things
the
like
teat.
that. Yeah, exactly. Milk
the
the
teat.
teat. Yeah. Yeah, and there's another one where you have to fucking shake up some soda and try not to have it explode on your face. Yeah.
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 They're just going sexual with it.
Oh, very sexual with
great.
it. I mean, it's pretty funny, but yeah, I don't know, man. I hope it does well because I definitely think for the industry, a strong Nintendo is good for the industry entirely.
Definitely.
Because it pushes the other companies, like the big two, the other ones, to go to their comfort zone a little bit. Because right now they're just the HD twins, and that's pretty much all they need to be.
Yeah.
Because there's no real competition. I mean, I guess I don't know. I don't know what area of the market Nintendo is trying to corner right now. Are they going for the hardcore gamer?
The Japanese market.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Is the North American market going to emulate the Japanese market though? Is that something that we can depend upon?
They don't care, which is funny. Like, I don't know. Nintendo's very, very much of that mindset of the old Japanese businessman attitude of only do things for Japan because Japan's doing it the right way.
I mean, you say they don't care, but they want money. Like, that's clear. They're a business. They have to want money.
Yes, to some extent, but the Japanese businesses, they care significantly more about Japanese domestic performance than international performance.
So you're telling me Reggie isn't in there cracking skulls? Bullshit.
There's a shit ton of stories actually about Nintendo of America having next to no power.
Really?
Yeah. Same as like Nintendo of Europe. They have almost no power to change anything.
That's interesting.
Yeah. There isn't even any Nintendo game development studios that are part of Nintendo of America or Nintendo of Europe.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all in Japan.
Yeah.
All the Nintendo first-party studios.
Which is kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of how I guess they seem out of touch with North American stuff because like that Switch reveal event or whatever it was, not the reveal event, but you know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Thing.
It was really weird.
Was so weird.
Like it did not hit well with the North American audience whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Good old
maybe
Nintendo
they
being
don't
Nintendo.
care. But like,
speaking of Switch stuff though. Switch. To Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they put out their video doing like a full breakdown of all the details of how it's different, what's new and kind of stuff.
What's new?
It's actually looking super cool. First of all, Dry Bones is back.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. Along with King Boo and then two of the I forget the names of them, the Squid Kids from Splatoon. Yeah, the male and the female. So yeah, 4 new characters, which is pretty cool.
Cool.
It was kind of funny in their reveal trailer. They showed a bunch of things that are a part of the regular Mario Kart 8 as well, like 200cc and that kind of stuff. But I think they're getting like 200cc more unanimously supported in the game. Like I don't think time trial 200cc was the thing.
That's weird.
But it will be in Deluxe. Anyways.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll have all the DLC and stuff. So it's like 40 characters and then like 40 some tracks or something like that. Like stupid amount of variety there. But really cool. They're adding battle mode, like proper battle mode.
There wasn't a proper battle mode?
No, like it had battle mode, but like it was on the racetracks, not in arenas or anything.
So you have to do laps, or?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, I know. So
that was my favorite part about those games.
I know. So yeah, they're doing it with the proper arena. They're doing a bunch of different game types.
Yeah.
Some of them that we've seen before, like I think there's a coin collection one. There's the balloons, of course. They added a new item to steal balloons.
Okay.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then there's some new game modes as well. One of them's like you have to wear the crown for like 20 seconds straight.
Okay.
And then you win.
Like
so people are just kind of fighting for the crown.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And some other stuff like that. So yeah, it's really, really cool. Oh, and the other big change that they're doing actually is you can hold 2 items at a time now.
Oh, yeah, you couldn't do that before?
Yeah, in Mario Kart 8, like the regular version, you only hold 1 item at a time.
Oh.
Now you can hold 2 and switch between them, I assume.
Yeah, that's cool. The only thing I really knew about this was I saw someone posting on the Reddits, as I was reading through before this, and I doubt it's gonna happen. But they're like, I really hope that Nintendo goes the route of was it Mario Kart 7 for the DS? Was that the one? Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where it's like if you had the copy of the game, but none of your friends had it, they could still play with you 100%, like on their own system, everything like that. I don't know, man. I hope they don't do that because I think that's bullshit.
A little, yeah.
Pay for your fucking game. Maybe that's terrible of me. But, like, if you, I don't know, if you want to play the game, I feel like you should.
I don't think that makes as much sense for console. Like, for Nintendo was doing that for a while, actually, since the Game Boy. If you're locally together, then you can do that kind of stuff. You can play the multiplayer together, which I think is pretty cool. I kind of like that.
I don't know. I don't like it, but I like
it. It was the idea of, like, a different way to do split screen. That's what it was. It's like, hey, you guys are all together. You have one copy of the game. You can all play it together now.
Oh, my understanding was that they could do it over a network. That you didn't have to be. Do you have to be physically together?
I'm not sure about the Mario Kart 7, like the DS one.
Oh, okay.
But like that's where the game or that idea came from. It was from the Game Boy stuff.
Okay, I can understand the being together part, but if if it was over network, it's like just buy the fucking game.
Yeah, at that point, yeah.
Okay, sorry, I misunderstood then. Okay,
yeah,
that makes a lot more sense. Speaking of things that are confusing, we're gonna talk about healthcare, and we're going to talk about how it pertains to games. And I was just listening to a podcast with Dan Edelman, and he's fantastic. He's one of those guys in the industry that you don't really have to know about. And he's not that famous in the industry, but he did a lot of cool stuff. Like he helped roll out initially XBLA, and he helped with the Nintendo Store becoming the Nintendo Store, and then he left and made his own kind of, I don't know what you want to call it. I mean, I guess he does PR for companies, but he has such inside knowledge of the games industry that like he's much better at PR than a lot of those PR, because a lot of those PR people, they don't know games. They're business people. They're good at talking and presenting to people, but they don't know games very well.
Yeah.
So he helped make like Axiom Verge and some stuff like that, right? So anyway, he was talking and about how he felt comfortable leaving Nintendo to go do his private business because his wife and his daughter both have existing medical conditions, which before the Obamacare thing was going on, it would be sketchy to get private healthcare to actually cover you, because something they can do is they can just drop you. If they're like, oh shit, you have cancer? Okay, let's end this, which they can't do under Obamacare. So he's kind of scared about the whole Trump thing, which is totally fair. He's running a small business. So how does the change in healthcare, how does that impact the indie scene? Because I personally think the indie scene is super important to the overall gaming scene entirely. So will potential changes to the healthcare have very negative impacts on the indie scene?
Yeah. I've seen like videos about YouTubers kind of talking about this.
Yeah.
I think Hit Green specifically did a video on that kind of stuff, and like he was like, technically he has a business and everything, and he has healthcare sorted out through his business.
Yeah.
But for the good majority of like YouTubers, like they aren't making very much money, so healthcare is a very big deal. If they're paying for private healthcare that's really expensive, then well, they just can't. They don't have the money for it.
Yeah, and the thing about the private healthcare is like not the fact that it's just expensive, but it's like they can drop you.
Yeah,
that's terrifying.
Yeah, like there's all that.
I'm so happy I
live
in Canada, man.
Yeah,
that doesn't really.
Yeah, for them it affects anybody who's trying to put themselves into a low income situation, which is just pretty much any entrepreneur, which is really big for indie game developers. Every single one of them is an entrepreneur trying to start up a business to make games. And if they have that pressure of having to pay for healthcare, then that's a really big scare away from doing their own indie stuff. Anyways, like they'll just be like, so I could take this risk, or I could get a job that includes healthcare.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think on a bigger aspect, if you have those scary things, you're going to see less talent pop up in those areas, and they may go to other places. They may go to places where healthcare is less of a problem. And you have the indies, and sure, they create very talented people, but ultimately they can then go into form AAA studios.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not just losing the indies in that specific country or area. That's over time, that's going to result in there being not near as much talent in that area.
Yeah. Yeah, it's this kind of thing. And something actually funny and sort of a little bit relevant to where we are is to talk about basic income, where like that's the opposite side of it.
Yeah.
Is you're guaranteed to like have this much money to live off of.
Yeah.
From basic income, and they're thinking of like rolling out a program for that here. And the idea behind it is that like people will be able to kind of lean on that, either get their feet off the ground, or if they are being an entrepreneur, then if their business venture fails or whatever, then they're not screwed.
Yeah.
Right. And the thought is that, doing that will actually help promote more entrepreneurship and stuff like that.
Which I think is a correct assumption.
Yeah, I think it is. And, that's an awesome positive thing to kind of help entrepreneurship come along. And, the more people making their own businesses, like obviously the better for the economy as a whole. That is.
Yep.
Whereas like this healthcare thing where it's kind of scaring people away from doing their own businesses and taking those sort of risks, like that's going to have a negative long-term effect.
Yeah.
On the economy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting how many things come into play when you're dealing with people at that high of a level, because you can have something like the Bernie Sanders situation where it's like, oh, we'll pay for school, it'll be great. But if you don't have other systems in place to keep people around, you're going to deal with a brain drain issue, which they'll get their free school and they'll go fucking somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's been studies for like that kind of stuff, and this actually comes back to what you said about like if people are getting scared away because of lack of healthcare, like moving somewhere else. There's been studies, and people generally don't do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I think most people just generally don't want to move away.
Yeah.
For the most part, people like where they grew up or somewhere they're familiar.
It's a legitimate thing, brain drain.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it happens on kind of smaller scales, and I don't know. One of the bigger examples of it is actually some European countries where like there's this very socialist countries where schooling is free. And there's also a shit ton of incentive to actually leave your country for some amount of time.
Yeah.
So those other countries are paying for schooling for these people.
Plus, I do think it's a different landscape in Europe because there are so many surrounding countries that you can go. You know what I mean? Like over here, like within closeness, it's like, I don't know, the States or Canada. You know what I mean?
I can't really see that same kind of effect happening on anywhere near the same kind of scale in North America, because the U.S. is the U.S. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's gigantic. There's so many places to be, and people move around in the U.S. and stuff. But in the end, it's pretty much all the same economy.
Yeah, dude. So somehow we were able to talk about politics and like all that kind of economic stuff, yet still tie it back to games.
Yeah.
Boom.
There'll be less indie games on the Steam store.
Yeah, which I
the
mean,
Obamacare gets wrecked.
Yeah, absolutely. Has any developments come out about their new program at all? Anything new? You hear any more about that?
Not that much. I think there was something put forward a couple weeks ago, but that wasn't like the actual removal plan. It was something else that had been started beforehand, and I don't know. There's a whole bunch of weird stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be nice. Like I didn't know how fucked up Greenlight was, but Greenlight was super fucked up. You could literally just pay companies to get your game on there, and then you can get more games on it, because they would do. I mean, they don't specify what they do, but I assume they use bots.
Bots, yeah.
I would assume, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's cool, very cool.
I think they're supposed to change it soon, though.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like they gave like a time frame. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's the Blizzard soon. The trademark after it.
Soon, eventually.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to cut it out here. Kind of a slow news week, but, we tried to find
Everybody's busy playing good games.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Anyway, guys, we will catch you guys next time. Keep fucking that turkey.